Chapter 3. Racers, take your places, said a voice over the loudspeakers. The rules of the race are simple. No speeding, no fuzzbusters, and no breaking the laws of the road allowed. This is it, whispered Malcolm. He revved the engine. As they pulled up to the starting line, Malcolm and Marcia checked out the other cars. Malcolm felt really proud. His car was one of the coolest ones there, and he had done all the work himself. Marcia felt proud too. After all, she had helped make the Mustang as cool as it was. Some of the other cars were pretty awesome too. Chico was driving a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. He dropped in an old 8-cylinder Cadillac engine. It was a very fast car. Sammy was in a 1972 Plymouth Barracuda. Henry was driving a Chevy 4x4 pickup truck. His dad had bought it for him. Henry had never had to work on it. Julio was in his 1967 Camaro with hot flames painted along the side. The owner of the auto shop waved the green flag. They were off. There were 20 cars in this race, so it was hard to get ahead right away. A city bus got in the way for a block. To Marcia, it felt like the red lights had never lasted so long in her whole life. It was slow going all the way to the freeway entrance. The cars began to turn onto the ramp for the southbound freeway, but Malcolm and Marcia stayed on the road they were on and shot past the others. They kept their fingers crossed, hoping no one would notice. Several blocks later, there were still no other road rally cars behind them. "We did it! No one's following us!" laughed Malcolm. "See, I told you this was the best route to take," said Marcia. "Everyone else has to go south on the freeway for 2 hours before they get to Wilton Pass. Then they start heading east. This route is mostly just used by freight trucks. Hopefully no one will think of it. Here comes Dead Man's Pass now. We just cut 2 hours off the whole trip." Malcolm turned on the radio and they sang along to all the songs. Soon they began to climb the mountains. "Hey, look at that sign. We're almost 5,000 feet above sea level," Marshall told Malcolm. "I don't care about sea level," said Malcolm. "I just wish these slow trucks would get out of my way." "Don't they understand that we have a race to win here?" asked Marcia. Neither of them had ever been so high up in the mountains before. The pine trees lining the road were beautiful, but Malcolm and Marcia were glad when they finally started going down the other side. The trucks ahead could go a little faster. "What are those things?" asked Marcia. She pointed to big mounds of sand by the road. "Those are sand traps," explained Malcolm. "If trucks lose their brakes coming down the hill, they just steer into the sand traps. It keeps people from getting hurt." "Wow," Marcia said. "It's a good thing you checked the brakes this morning. I'd hate to see what it's like to use those sand traps." "Just because we're in a car doesn't mean we have nothing to worry about," warned Malcolm. As they reached the bottom of the mountain, Malcolm pulled into a rest area with a small gas station and a restaurant. "We better fill up before we begin the stretch through the Mojave Desert," Malcolm said. "This is the last place where we can get gas before the race's finish line." "Good idea," said Marcia. "I'll go inside and get some juice." Malcolm filled the tank and followed Marcia into the restaurant. As Marcia was paying for the juice, Malcolm glanced out the screen door. There were 2 cars from the race at the gas pumps. It was Sammy and Chico. Their navigators jumped into the cars and slammed the doors. The cars took off. Malcolm kicked himself for not seeing them on the road before. He had only been paying attention to what was ahead. "Hurry up, Marcia," Malcolm said. Okay, give me a break," Marcia snapped. "I'm trying to pay the man for the juice. Hey, how about this fruit and nut mix? Do you want some?" Malcolm exploded. "Sammy and Chico have been following us the whole way. Now they just got ahead of us." He ran out through the screen door. Marcia left the right change on the counter and ran after him. Malcolm stopped dead in his tracks. Marcia gasped when she saw the car. "The tires! Those cheaters flattened my tires! I don't believe this," Malcolm moaned. "Now we're out of the race for sure." "Well, let's get this car over to the pump and refill those tires pronto," Marcia exclaimed. As the brother and sister pushed the car up to the gas station's air pump, Malcolm noticed something strange. "Hey, the nozzle for the pump is gone," he yelled. "It's got to be around here somewhere," Marcia replied nervously. She was getting a sick feeling in her stomach. Malcolm looked all around the pump. He shook his head. "It's not here. Sammy and Chico must have stolen it. This is a nightmare. Now I'll never win." "Don't we have a pump in the car?" Marcia asked. Yes, we do, Malcolm snapped, but it's going to take forever to pump all 4 tires. Marcia began to panic. Then she remembered the kit.